Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. The second guest of the day is the co-host of the podcast Sports Dudes, alongside with James Celestin, and this is Nick Caruso. How are you doing on this Friday afternoon?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Alrighty, so first we're going to go over the fun region of my bracket of glory, which you have promoted for me on Twitter, and then we'll have a couple rapid-fire questions at the end of the show. So, the play-in matches. You have two play-in matches, which is weird, that my bracket played out with two play-in matches in the fun region, but that's just how it happened. So, the 11 seeds are battles of A-Rod moments. His 600th home run or his 3,000th hit. Which moment do you think that I advanced into the field of 64?
I would say A-Rod's 3,000th hit.
You are correct. I did that because that hit was off of Justin Verlander. Meanwhile, his 600th home run was off of a no-name dude on the Blue Jays, who I really don't remember who it was off of. I just remember it was against the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays were a bad team at the time. But the Tigers were not very good at the time either, but it was Justin Verlander. So that's why I had to advance the 3,000th hit into the field of 64. 16-seed play-in matchup. Victor Cruz's first career NFL touchdown against the Philadelphia Eagles in a game where the Giants are missing a lot of key players and they wound up winning outright. And Yankees hit 3 grand slams in a single game. Which moment do you think I advanced into the field of 64?
I would say the Yankees 3 grand slams because that's harder to do.
I actually advanced Victor Cruz's first touchdown because that was the start of really his breakout season in 2011 en route to the Super Bowl. So that's the only reason why I advanced that. But Yankees 3 grand slams, Twitter actually voted for that as well. So Twitter was thinking along the same lines as you. So the round of 64, the 1 seed I had in the fun region, the Rangers making the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals. And for me, in my bracket, the Victor Cruz touchdown against the Eagles as the 16th seed. And then in the Twitter bracket and what you thought, Yankees 3 grand slams. I think this is obvious of who you would think I would advance.
Yes, the Rangers making the 2014 Stanley Cup Finals.
Absolutely. They made the final 1-0 win over Montreal in Game 6. The lone goal scored by Dominic Moore, who was a key fourth-line contributor to that team. All due respect to Victor Cruz and all due respect to the Yankees' 3 grand slams in a game. Here's trivia for you. Do you remember who the 3 Yankees were that hit the grand slams in that game?
Nick Swisher. Cano. And I'm not sure who the other one is.
Curtis Granderson.
Granderson, there you go.
Yeah, it was the first grand slam was by Swisher, and then the second one was Robinson Cano, and then the one that broke the record was Curtis Granderson. So that was a memorable day at the stadium. I know people that were at that game. So just a fun little trivia for you. So you got 2 of them, so that's good. So you're 8-9. The 8 seed, Yankees signed Mark Teixeira. 9 seed, 2013 Game 7 win in D.C. against the Capitals.
Even though that signing was great, I can't go against the playoff game, so I'm going to go Game 7 against the Capitals.
I actually chose the Yankees signing Mark Teixeira here, actually, because Mark Teixeira helped lead the Yankees to the championship in his first year with the team and was a stellar Yankee. And all due respect to the Rangers in 2013, that was a great win. It was a tough pick for me, by the way. It wasn't an easy call here, but I went with Teixeira because he helped them win the World Series in 2009, and the Rangers wound up losing in the next round against the Boston Bruins. But like I said, tough call, though. The 5-12, your 5 seed, Victor Cruz, 99-yard touchdown against the Jets, and your 12 seed, 2017 ALCS Game 4 comeback against the Houston Astros.
Both are great moments, but I'm going to say the Yankees against the Astros.
I actually went with the 5 seed Victor Cruz against the Jets, and that's because at the time the Giants were 7-7, on the verge of getting eliminated by the playoffs. They were down 10-3 against the Jets in MetLife Stadium. James was in the building, if I'm not mistaken, and Victor Cruz goes 99 yards, and the fortunes for both those teams changed on the dime, and it was better for the Giants. So I advanced a 99-yard touchdown, although that comeback against the Astros was so much fun to witness on TV for sure. And actually, Twitter actually picked the Game 4 comeback against the Astros as well, so you're not alone there.
That don't surprise me. Yankee Twitter comes hard for that stuff.
Yeah, Yankees Twitter came hard for signing Mark Teixeira as well. And you know what? Yankees Twitter also came hard after they picked the 16 over the 1. They thought Yankees Grand Slams over the Rangers making the final, which was nuts for me. Maybe because the Rangers lost that final, that's probably what those Yankees Twitter people were thinking.
All they have to see is Yankees, and they'll pick it.
Exactly.
It could have been Yankees. You know, the night when they came back from a bunch of runs against the Orioles to the 20-3 Super Bowl. As long as they see Yankees, they're gonna pick the Yankees, no matter what.
Maybe not against the Super Bowl, but certainly over like a Ranger or a Nick moment for sure. But that comeback against the Orioles surprisingly did not make the field, amazingly enough. I think it's because I was out on vacation in Atlantic City that weekend and I missed that comeback. And I know it happened. I followed it on my phone and I watched a little bits and pieces of it in the bar in the hotel. But, yeah, that moment probably should have made it, but it didn't. So let's get back to the round of 64. Your 4-13, the 4 seed 2012-13 Knicks win 54 games. Your 13 seed 2013 second round Chris Kreider overtime playoff goal against the Bruins. And P.S. I was in the building for that.
Alright, so the only reason why I'm going to say this one, because this was the last time James got to see happiness, and I'm going to say the Knicks winning 54 games.
I agree with you. I advanced the Knicks as well for that reason, and plus the only reason why I didn't advance the event that I saw in person was because the Rangers were down 3-0 in that series, and that was the lone win they had in that series. So that's why the Knicks advanced, and because that was the last great season the Knicks have had. So, and I thought the Knicks got too much disrespect by the Twitter people because they picked Kreider over that, which was ridiculous in my opinion.
Maybe because the Knicks have been suffering all these years now that they forget how great that team was.
Yeah, they forget how fun that season was, exactly. Your 6-11, your 6 seed 2014 Game 7 win in Pittsburgh, or 11 seed A-Rod 3000th hit.
Ooh. I'm going to go the win against the Penguins.
You are correct. And that was a great win. Rangers come back from 3-1 down the series. So in Game 7 in Pittsburgh against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins, it was so great. So I advanced that into the round of 32, all due respect to number 13. The 3-14, I think this is easy, but Twitter, this was actually a close vote on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken. Your 3 seed, Greg Bird home run off of Andrew Miller in Game 3 against the Indians, or 14 seed, Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge go back-to-back in their big league debuts.
I don't think you can go against a playoff moment, so I'm going to say Greg Bird's home run against Andrew Miller.
Absolutely, you're correct. I did advance Greg Bird. I remember I was at the bar that night. Football was on the other TV, and they had baseball on the bigger TV. And I remember I ran around the bar because I was so excited that Greg Bird hit that home run. It was so unexpected, too, because it was off of Andrew Miller, and the Yankees were on the verge, perhaps, of elimination. And a memorable moment in this game, remember Tanaka on the mound, and Francisco Lindor hits the ball, and then Judge just robs him on the right field fence. That was another moment in that game that was a big play, but obviously that was the going to be remembered as the Greg Bird homer off Andrew Miller game. And that was obviously a fun series comeback down from 2-0. And by the way, the Game 5 win in Cleveland was in, I want to say, the excitement region, if I'm not mistaken. So, a lot of Yankees in this bracket, obviously. 7 seed, 2007 division round in Dallas. R.W. McQuarters picks off Tony Romo. Or your 10 seed, A-Rod home run off of Ryan Dempster after a hit by pitch in Fenway Park.
That was a very, very fantastic moment, so I'm going to choose the A-Rod home run.
Wow. I went with the 7 seed because it was a divisional playoff game, so en route to the Super Bowl. So I advanced the 7 seed, and I think Twitter agreed with me, or Twitter got it right with that one, with the 7 seed there. All due respect to my man A-Rod, but that was the regular season in Fenway, and a year the Yankees weren't very good. The 215 in the fun region, this should be a no-brainer. Your 2 seed, Derek Jeter, walk-off in his final home game in the Bronx. 15 seed, Andy Pettitte pitches a complete game in his final MLB start in Houston against the Astros.
Both moments were great, but how do you pick against Derek Jeter?
Exactly. How do you pick against the captain? And guess what? I was in the building for that.
Nice.
I was in the building for that. And then I had Bobby Thompson on before you. He had Mo's last game in his region that we went over, and I was at that game as well.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Oh, and I was at another game in this region. I was at the Austin and Judge going back-to-back.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was at that one, too. Wow. So, yeah, I was at a couple of these. So, the round of 32, so the Rangers making the Stanley Cup Finals, and then in my bracket, it was the Yankees signing Mark Teixeira, and in the in what you thought, the Game 7 win in D.C. I think this is easy.
Yes.
The Stanley Cup Final has to go to the Sweet 16, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then, in the bracket you chose, what you thought, the comeback against the Astros in Game 4, or the Knicks winning 54 games in 2012-13. What would have you picked? What would have you thought I would advance if that was what I had?
I'd say the Knicks.
What if I advanced the Knicks? Over that, yes, but over the Victor Cruz touchdown, what if I advanced the Knicks? No, I would have advanced Victor Cruz. Because, like I said, it led to the Super Bowl. And all due respect to the 2017 Yankees, I would probably pick the Knicks over them, but I would have been close. But I'm advancing the Victor Cruz touchdown against the Jets over the Knicks winning 54 games because, obviously, that was the start of the Giants' run. So, I'm advancing Victor Cruz. Your 6-3 in the round of 32. Your 6 seed, the Game 7 win in Pittsburgh. Or the 3 seed, Greg Bird's home run off of Andrew Miller.
I'd go Greg Bird against Miller.
I went with Game 7, actually, because it was a Game 7 in Pittsburgh against Crosby and the Pens. Although the Yankees won that series against Cleveland, that was like the start of their little comeback in that series. But I took the Game 7 win against the Penguins because it was Crosby and the Penguins, and that's a huge rival. So I obviously went with the rival there, so we disagree. Or you were wrong there. In the last of the round of 32, you picked the A-Rod homer off of Dempster, and I don't think that stands a chance against Jeter's final walk-off.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, that final walk-off was fantasy.
That was a really good moment.
Fantasy becoming reality, as Michael Kay says. So I obviously advancing Derek Jeter's final game, or final walk-off over the pick off of Tony Romo, only because it's Jeter. I can't go against my childhood idol there.
Of course not.
So the Sweet 16 for me, Rangers making the final, or the Victor Cruz touchdown against the Jets, I would go. I would advance the Rangers, and would you advance the I think you would advance the Rangers making the final over the Knicks winning 54 games, right?
Of course.
Yeah, duh, because they made the final. The Knicks didn't. And then the other side, Sweet 16, what you thought, Greg Bird's homer off of Miller against, oh my god. Poor Greg Bird. He doesn't stand a chance here against Derek Jeter.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'd advance Jeter over Greg Bird. And then I actually had the Pittsburgh win in Game 7. I'm advancing Jeter as well. And then the regional final in the Fun region. Who do you think I advanced to the Final Four? The Rangers making the 2014 Stanley Cup Final, or Derek Jeter's final walk-off in the Bronx?
I mean, again, it's hard to go against the captain, so I would think Jeter.
I advanced Jeter, and Twitter was right. Twitter advanced Jeter as well, and it's funny because Twitter got the Final Four right, actually. In the bracket, the Final Four, Jeter's final walk-off, the 2 seed in the Fun region, and then the 1 seeds in the other regions made it through. The unforgettable region, 1 seed, the Giants winning Super Bowl 42, bad memory for you. Excitement region, number 1 seed, the 09 Yankees winning the World Series, good memory for me, and good memory for you. And in the improbable region, the Giants winning Super Bowl 46 advanced, and that was a bad memory for you and a good memory for me. And then in the Fun region, as we talked about, Jeter final walk-off in the Bronx against the Orioles advances, and that's a good moment for both of us. And I picked the 2 over the 1 here because it's Jeter, and I was in the building. So Jeter's final walk-off onto the Final Four. So before we go, a couple of rapid fire things that I'd like to talk about. So first thing, do you think the NFL season will start in time?
I mean, the NFL always seems to stay ahead of itself, and I think it will. Now, will they go through the whole schedule? Who knows? Because it's a very contactful sport, and, will fans be there? Who knows? It's just a wait and see.
I think that the NFL will start on time. Bobby said it when I had him on about an hour ago. He thinks that the season will start on time no matter what, because he thinks that the NFL saw what happened with Major League Baseball and doesn't want to be involved in that mess again. They care about the fans. It's Roger Goodell we're talking about here. So I think the NFL will start on time. And regarding fans, I think that will be up to the teams and the governors of the states that those teams are in. For example, Florida, Ron DeSantis is their governor, and Bobby is moving to Tampa in a couple of weeks, as he said on the show, and he thinks that DeSantis is going to allow fans in the stands at some capacity, and I agree with that because DeSantis would do that, and I think that...
I saw a tweet earlier that the Jaguars put something about 20% of fans being in the building.
Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that for sure. 20%, I said in some capacity. And maybe as the season goes on, and if the virus lowers, I could see the capacity numbers going up. And what I think they should do is that they should have temperature checks for all the fans and the media and the players. And if you're 100.4 or over, you shouldn't come in. That's what I think they should do.
That would be fantastic. Plus, I'd also have every fan sign a waiver. If you don't want to sign a waiver, you can't come in the building.
Yeah, the waiver thing's important too, but I think the temperature check is even more important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm more for the temperature check really than the waiver, but the waiver is a smart idea as well. So, football news that happened last week. Your beloved New England Patriots signed Cam Newton. What do you make of that signing?
Fantastic. Before Cam, I had them going maybe 5-12, maybe 5-11. So now, if Cam is healthy, they should easily win the division. And once you're in the playoffs, who knows? You have Julian Edelman, you have Sanu, you have N'Keal Harry. You'll most likely have to lose Joe Thuney, which would suck because he's a great center. And who knows?
Yeah, I like the Patriots too with Cam Newton. With Jarrett Stidham, I saw maybe a 4 or 5 win team, but with Cam Newton, I could see it being 500 or better. But as long as he's healthy, I think that they're going to be a good team, and I think Cam's health is the biggest X factor with New England this year. And obviously, Bill Belichick's the best coach ever, and they have the experience on the roster. Julian Edelman, they have the running backs, Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead and James White. They have 3 running backs that have all produced for them over the last couple years. N'Keal Harry, somebody I think can make a jump. Mohamed Sanu needs to be better, I think. Now the question is what do you get out of the tight end position. Joe Thuney, I think they have to keep. If they get rid of him, I think they're in trouble because I think that an offensive line is very important in today's age of the NFL, especially for somebody like Cam Newton, who's been very, very injury prone. So did you see the comment made by Woj today?
I saw his apology, but I don't know why he made an apology.
I could see why he apologized because cursing's not good. I mean, I curse on the podcast on occasion. Not often. I don't hate cursing. It's just in today.
What did he say?
He said F you. He said F you in an email.
Oh.
Yeah, he said F you in an email that in response to Senator's press release going viral. So Woj said F you and then he tweeted out an apology. So yeah, that's what Woj did. I'm surprised he did that, and it's crazy because 2020's just been a wacky year for COVID and the unrest and all that. But, yeah, Woj saying that was shocking, and if he thought it was the right thing to do, so be it. So, Woj, I still love Woj. Everybody makes mistakes, you know that. So, yeah, I think that
the only reason why it seems weird because it's out of his character. He never acts like that. So I'm highly sure ESPN is not gonna give him punishment. They're not gonna fine him. They're not gonna do anything. He's perfect for branding. Everyone has a slip at the moment sometimes.
Absolutely.
And, so I see no big deal.
Yeah, everyone has slips. That's out of Woj's character, absolutely. And even Woj knows that. His bosses at ESPN know that, and I think that Woj will not get in trouble for it. Something fun here. Baseball's starting, and it's starting in less than 2 weeks away. Maybe we'll do a predictions show with you and James on my show or on Sports Dudes. But in case we end up doing a prediction show on your podcast, give me a bold prediction for the Major League Baseball season.
So Julian is very, very high on the Cincinnati Reds, so I'm gonna go in on that. And I also do think that the Toronto Blue Jays could do a wild card push.
I agree with the Reds, but I disagree with the Blue Jays. I am not sold on the Blue Jays pitching. Heijin Ryu, good signing, but I don't know if he will produce up to that contract, and I thought that he was better off in the National League, and I'm all in on the Cincinnati Reds. You'll see it in my preview podcasts, and that's something that I did not talk about with Bobby, surprisingly, because I think Bobby's in on them as well. Julian's all in on the Reds. I'm all in on the Reds, and I think that is a great call by you as well. And why not? I'm going to throw out a random bold prediction on the show. I am going to say, because I'm an optimist, that all 30 teams will have fans in the stands at some point at the end of the regular season.
That's definitely bold. I mean, a lot would have to change.
Yeah, you know me, I'm the optimist here, and I think that in some capacity, maybe 20% capacity, 25% capacity, Florida's allowing fans. We talked about that with Bobby earlier. I can see a world where even Gavin Newsom allows fans. I mean, and Bobby and I were joking about how the Marlins and the Rays fans socially distance anyway, and so do the Oakland fans. So I could totally see a world where it's 20-25% capacity of fans, and then I think that there will definitely be fans for the playoffs. So my bold prediction for right now, my very first bold prediction of the 2020 shortened season is that there will be fans in the stands for all 30 teams towards the end of the season.
That would be great.
Yeah, so before you go, promote Sports Dudes.
Alright, so guys, Instagram, the Sports Dudes 28. On Twitter is SportsD24733772. When I first made the Twitter, for some reason SportsD wasn't long enough, so they gave me those numbers. We record basically 5 days a week, me and James. James is at his Black Reaper 52. He's been on Madison's podcast numerous times. He's also on Facebook. And we talk to people from ESPN, baseball people, football people. We try to stay off political matters. Black Lives Matter is very important. And we do have a huge women in sports initiative, as that is equally important. And just keep listening, keep hearing other podcasts, Madison's as well. And let's get back to sports again.
Yeah, I love it. Let's get back to sports again. All right, it was a pleasure to have you on, and maybe you, James, and I will do a show together on either Sports Dudes or this podcast previewing the baseball season. So it was a good time today. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, just let us know.
Yep, I'll let you guys know. I'll talk to James too, and I hope you have a great day.
You too.